LeBron fell asleep, and that's why they won. They were getting their butts kicked without Isaiah Thomas. LeBron fell asleep. The rest of the team kind of followed his lead and fell asleep, and they lost the game. This game, look, hats off to Brad Stevens, to Marcus Smart, to Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Al Horford. Tremendous. I'm glad they won the game, and the NBA needed that credibility. But Isaiah Thomas was a great player for them and is a great player. They're not better without him.
I think what it did was got a little relief for Danny Ainge on who to pick #1. I just basically, that ball moved around. These players are NBA players. We give them that. That ball moved around. Players got active. The ball is in Isaiah Thomas' hands very too much. I said the same thing about Chris Paul. It's in his hands too much. We have too many talented players on this team, on the Clipper team, where the ball does not need to stick so much. If it moves around more, you get a little bit more activity. You get a little bit more intensity on the defensive end. They're already a good defensive team, besides Horford and Isaiah, because he's too small, and Horford, I don't think he can move in good situations. But when you give them the opportunity to touch it more, they want to do something on the other end, and I think that's what the key was.
This is another example, Chris, of us being disappointed in the ball-centric point guard. John Wall disappointed, James Harden, Westbrook, Kyrie Irving last night when LeBron's off, can't lead him to a win. They're dynamic, they're fun to watch, they're the little guy in a big man's game, but once again, a little guy, we take a deep breath and go, we vote him with all these awards, they ain't changing series.
Well, I'm not going to make one big determination off one game. Like you said, LeBron doesn't fall asleep, they win that game without Isaiah. But here's the thing. In Boston, it's not just about being good. It's not just about entertaining people. It's about winning championships. Yes. And as good as Isaiah is, he's not going to lead you to a championship.
He's not.
Only 2 normal-sized point guards, and he's below that, have led teams to championships. Isaiah Thomas, the original, and Steph Curry. And they both did, like Isaiah Thomas, even though he scored the one with Detroit, he was a great passer, which is not what Isaiah Thomas with Boston is. And Steph is just a phenomenal shooter. So they both brought something different to the table than Isaiah. He's more like, he's not as good as Allen Iverson, but he's that type of player. And we saw Iverson probably get you as far as you could, that style, which is to the finals.
And Detroit's Isaiah Thomas was that scorer first, and he couldn't win that way. When he got Joe and everybody else, he switched his roles. Like, all right, I got to distribute this thing first. I can always get 20, 25 points anytime I want.
Did you see the movie E.T.? When I say E.T., you think Spielberg. Well, no, what I'm saying, when I say it, you think Spielberg. You don't think Craig T. Nelson. It was a Spielberg production. This is a Brad Stevens production. Isaiah Thomas is nice. This is about Brad Stevens. This is a Danny Brad team. It's not Isaiah Thomas.
I tell you what, I don't think because there are people in the league that think this is the time to trade Isaiah Thomas.
I agree.
His value will never be higher. You've got this #1 pick. You've already got some pretty good guards as it is. But here's the thing. I don't know who's giving up a ton to get him. Because they may feel the same way, ball-centric point guard. Maybe a team that needs an entertainer, a marquee name, but we may not win a championship, but hey, let's bring it
Why wouldn't we bet everything I've seen from Isaiah Thomas, he kind of survived and built himself into a star. Why wouldn't he take a step back if, let's say they play good in Game 4 without him and the rest of this series? We're sure he couldn't adjust his style of play? He couldn't make the same adjustment that the original Isaiah Thomas made?
Well, if he does that, his value is going to go down, and they won't be a good opportunity for Boston to let him go.
True.
Right now, it's like you said, Chris, this is a prime time to go ahead and shop him. And then you have the #1 pick. So if you do say, hey, Isaiah, change into the old Isaiah or the first Isaiah and start distributing the ball more, and it doesn't work out, look, right now, if you erase him from this team, he's a 6, 7, 8. That Boston is a 6, 7, 8 seed. They'll make the playoffs. They'll be in the Eastern Conference in that seed. So now that they're the #1 seed and they know they have to go against the monster and LeBron and his team, do you take that chance? It's like, I'm not going to beat LeBron anyway, so let me take that chance. Like I said earlier, get Ball. He's taller. He's more defensive play. He's more a passer. He wants everybody to achieve first. He's a great teammate, regardless of what his father is doing. He's a great teammate.
I will say this about Ball and the Celtics. They need to be putting out little rumors that, hey, the Celtics like Ball.
Yeah.
Because make the Lakers offer you something for him. And then if you want Fultz, you can get him at #2 and maybe a player or an asset from the Lakers.